There were many trains to take the name Orient Express, but only one in space.
Good morning, everyone. Your goal is to ascertain the foretold's true nature.
I know exactly what this sounds like.
Isn't this exciting?
It's immortal, unstoppable, unkillable.
Can we get a new expert?
Those that bear the foretold stare have 66 seconds to live.
Stop the clock.
Alright, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking and Reviews, back to talk more Doctor Who Season 8. We're on Episode 8. It's called Mummy on the Orient Express. So full spoilers if you have not seen this episode. So where we left off, I pretty much thought that Clara was going to be MIA at least for at least one or two episodes. But she's back, but it's really kind of a last hurrah that keeps saying it throughout this, and knowing that she'll be back. I mean, I've seen the other, I've seen pictures of the other episodes at the very least. So I know she's not gone here. But their relationship is definitely strained because the Doctor is who he is and Claire is who she is. And I think he can only push that kind of thing, woman, practically immortal thing after a while, the way he is. And so this is supposed to be their swan song, but if she didn't expect at least there to be something on this adventure, why would you even go? I mean, I guess somebody says, hey, you want to take ride a space train. I guess that'd be kind of hard to pass up. But this whole thing starts with a mummy that no one can see and kills you in 66 seconds no matter what. And therein lies the mystery of the episode. You can't have the Orient Express without it being a mystery. And I kind of thought that this episode would delve, now that, since she's there, it would delve more into their problems. And it kind of, I was preparing to have a whole thing, explaining it, but really, it's pretty straightforward. And the ending, though, I do have some questions. And so that's where I'll rely on the community. But this lady, she gets killed by a mummy that nobody can see, and she, Clara is telling the Doctor, I can't do this anymore, I can't do it anymore the way you do it. So, I think she's specifically talking about this version of the Doctor, that she does not like how he does things, this version of the way he does things. And so they kind of are on their own separate little journey for part of this episode. I like how he talks to himself to work stuff out. And I like it because it's something that I do. And I don't know if that makes me abnormal, but I like to talk out a problem when I'm really trying to work something out. I like that he refers to himself as Nosy Parker. And apparently shoes can break computer locks pretty well, and then, I guess if you smash it hard enough. But we also find out that this mummy is called a foretold. It's like this legend of this unstoppable killing machine, basically, that throughout time has been researched, but nobody's been able to figure it out. And on this train, there's a little detail that they throw out pretty early, that it's full of professors and scientists, and just a lot of big brains are in there. In fact, there's a couple of people that look like famous scientists. One looks like, a Kmart version of Einstein, but, we never know. They never really give us anything. One thing, what was in his cigarette case? I have a few questions about things that the Doctor has. What's in that cigarette case that he handed the guy to eat? What's with the wallet that you can basically give, it's not anything. He flashes it at the conductor and he sees it be his worst fear? Somebody that, some sort of authority that is afraid of him? So I guess it's meant to trump anybody who asks questions? Is that right? So if I needed to talk to a cop, but I didn't want him to questioned me, if he saw the badge, would it be like the FBI that was on the badge or something like that, or like NSA? I'm figuring that that's how it works. Speaking of which, his sonic screwdriver suddenly not working, I thought that might be a thing that would come up too, like, but I mean, it is working, just not on the thing on the door. It's working on the sarcophagus later on. Mystery shopper. I love how Americans and British, people have the same things. We just call it something slightly different. We call them secret shoppers. They call it mystery shoppers. It's the same fucking thing, but for some reason we use like a different word. It's funny how we have like those things that like the language barrier is just weird, like just tweaked enough to where we go, oh, you mean that? And then we probably look like each person probably looks like an asshole for like correcting the other person because really it's redundant. I also, there's that line, I wish we liked who we're supposed to like. And that would make things a lot easier. Yeah, it really does. It really would make things a whole lot easier. I can definitely relate to that statement. It also turns out that 3 people have to die on a train for the conductor to care. At least by his own admission anyway. But we find out that basically the majority of the people on the train are holograms. They're all put there to pad it out because somebody has set this whole thing up, and it's that person called Gus. Now, I'm thinking that this is probably the lady that we get teased, we've been teased throughout this season, possibly. It has to be somebody that we're going to meet later on. But they're using the train as like this kind of a trial and error to figure out what the foretold is. And this episode, to me, really, the Doctor seems very much like Hugh Laurie's Dr. House on this, because it's like he only cares about the puzzle. Like, he doesn't care like how many things that they have to go through, how many diagnoses, that kind of thing. Like, we're all just kind of fodder. That he can just, he doesn't worry himself about the body count. He just wants to do whatever it takes to find the answer, and if that means a whole bunch of people got to die to find it, that's acceptable to him. And it's not to Clara. Like, her character just does not stand for it. And I guess in that way you can understand why they've finally reached this impasse, at least with this Doctor. I don't know how long Clara stays his companion, but it definitely feels like she's on her way out a little bit. But I don't know how long she was Matt Smith's companion either. But I really, really do like how he is so detached about certain things. And I can relate to his kind of way of thinking about stuff, that it doesn't make you very popular. Sometimes, being the smartest one in the room isn't all it's cracked up to be, because people don't like to feel stupid. Even if you're not meaning for them to feel stupid, sometimes it just comes across that way. Instead of just, it's easy to seem like emotionally detached, and sometimes you are. And people don't know how to talk to you, so then they think you're being, I don't know, like just talking down to them or being condescending. But we find out that this thing is after people with illnesses, weaknesses, things like that. It's survival of the fittest. It's targeting the weak first, which would be kind of a predatory thing. But I like how where we figure out that, and kind of quickly, when the Doctor takes the place of this lady here and takes her like trauma and sticks it in him so that he can see it, that it's a soldier that has been like part of some long forgotten war, and it's just never been able to rest because it's got that flag that he says it's a flag, and that he's waiting to die, that everybody else is dying and he can't, until he says, we surrender, and it stops. I also want to mention all the really good character actors that are in here. I don't really recognize them, but the conductor and everybody that plays little parts in it, even though they are cannon fodder, I do like how they all go down in their own way. Especially the first one where he's like, what do you mean I'm going to die? Like, wait, I mean, because this guy probably lived his whole life and never thought it would end here. None of these people did. And it's pretty... It has that, I mean, I thought we were going to go like full Murder on the Orient Express where basically everybody was in on it or something like that. But it was still a nice mystery. It was a nice change of pace. But the person, once they solve it and the mummy turns to dust, Gus, the person that's running this show, or at least that's the name that they're using, decides that we don't need survivors. And decides to blow the train up. And of course, they get out in time. We don't see it. It's, you know, it's TV magic, editing, and all that stuff. But the weird part here is Clara. And her, you know, like the doctor is full on doctor in this episode. I mean, he is saying some very hard to hear things to most of the characters throughout this. You know, like your bedside manner leaves a lot to be desired. And it's like, yeah, I mean, and I think this is why I love at least this doctor. Like, I don't know if they all talk like Capaldi, but I love his very kind of matter-of-fact, attached, this is how it is kind of thing. And but I can see now that would rub somebody like Clara after a while the wrong way. But she, throughout hearing all of how he acts and talks and everything, and like she's saying, oh, you saved everybody, you know, you managed to do all that, and he, you know, like, you have a heart, you know, like, do you think I have a heart? Would it make it easier, you know, to believe if I just say, yeah, this is why I did things and everything like that, when he's just not us. And I don't know, like, I guess you could say, without knowing anything about the series, I'm going to assume that throughout all of his journeys and all the companions he's had, that he's taken little bits of human lessons along the way of, like, how to be. You know, to actually feel things like a person would. But, like, again, he's not a person. He's, well, I mean, he's not a human. He's something else. And I would think that any lessons he learned from us would be kind of like, I don't know, more like anthropology in a way, like just learning how to better deal with us, which would make him even more kind of detached in a way. But she has this sudden change of heart when he can't get the one guy to go with the guy here, and how it changes. He's like, I don't know, I think this would probably change, you know, a person. He's like, yeah, it does. And suddenly, you know, she has this change of heart. She talks about how it's, you know, it's an addiction, and he's like, well, how do you know unless you try to quit? And she talks to Danny Pink, and then says it's all good, and it's not. I mean, she, there's a cricket nearby. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But, she tells him, yeah, oh, he said it was fine. It was his fault in the first place. So she's lying. And is she afraid to quit? Is she the one with the addiction? Because I don't think he has an addiction. I think he's just doing what he does. And I think that she might, you know, that might be something that we have to deal with later. But, I mean, I would really like to know what y'all think about her change of heart here, because it just seems very sudden, especially after the last couple of episodes. And like I said, if it's part of like what she's talking about, like she's just afraid to quit, like maybe if this is all there is, like why would I stop now? I mean, she says just make sure I'm back on time and safe and all that stuff. But I mean, how can he really promise that? I know other companions have died, or at least one, and that's right. I know that Karen Gillan dies. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I remember everybody making a big deal about it online. So I'm really excited though now to see where they're headed, because like he says, sometimes the only choices are bad ones, but you still have to make a choice. And I feel like she just made a choice, and I don't know if it's the right one. And we do need to, like, I did kind of cheat. I did read the summary of the last episode of this season just to like see where we were headed a little bit. And so it does look like we're finally going to run into that lady who says she's from heaven and she's pulling dead people to her, or I don't know what's all going on. But I'm still kind of confused about it all. It takes each episode to learn a little bit more about this show. And again, jumping right into season 8, I'm actually pleased with myself more though than probably other people that watch me stumble my way through this. But I want to thank everybody that has watched and has enjoyed watching me talk about these, because I know I could be talking about anyone. Also, the next episode we are reviewing is not episode 9. One of my patrons, she's at the $5 tier, where she gets to pick an episode of television or a movie every month for me to review, and she wants me to review one of the episodes of the Doctor Who specials. I don't remember which one it is. I'd have to look at my phone, but we're doing a Doctor Who special next time we review Doctor Who. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you guys are looking forward to it too. Otherwise, if you like this video, please hit that like button. If you want to subscriber already, please become a subscriber. If you are a subscriber, hit that bell for all notifications so you always know when I've got stuff coming up on the channel. Share this video with people that you also have this interest. You can find me on Twitter at Yesh8. That's YESSHH8. If you want to talk to me there or follow me there or whatever you want to do. You can contribute to the channel by going to my Patreon page or go to paypal.me/smirkinggunreviews. And that's about it. So again, thanks a lot for checking out this video, and we will see you in the TARDIS next time.